Should highways be expanded, optimized, or replaced? TransportFutures.ca invites you to learn from and with international experts as we compare and contrast cutting-edge research, case studies, and best practices through presentations and interactive panel discussions. The first of 7 webinars takes place on February 9th from 1 to 4 p.m. Speakers for this session include Tija Dirks from the Ontario Ministry of Transportation, Ricardo Sanchez from Sintra, Elizabeth Deacon from the University of California, Andrew Price from Jacobs UK, and Michael Chu from MSC Consulting in Canada. DCN subscribers receive a special 10% discount using the promo code DCN23. Details are available at transportfutures.ca/highway. Don't get stuck in highway congestion missing it. We are officially less than 100 days from the largest construction family reunion in North America. That's right, ConExpo ConAg is going to be here before we know it. See and test the new equipment. Ask the technical experts. Find out what your business will be using tomorrow. Make the connections that matter. If you haven't registered yet, there's still time to secure your tickets. Visit conexpoconag.com or click the link in the show notes and use promo code podcast20 to get 20% off. That's right, 20% off with promo code podcast20. If you already have your tickets to the show, join us and comment on our daily commercial news, Journal of Commerce, and Construction Record podcast Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram feeds to let us know you're going to be there and what you're most excited to see. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Construction Record Podcast. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey, and with me today I have
Gavin Coyle.
And Gavin, you're known as the safety CEO. So let's launch right into that. What exactly is it that makes you a safety CEO? And are you a CEO of your own thing, or are you helping other CEOs, or both?
Both. I'm a CEO of the Coyle Group, which is a health and safety recruitment, outsourcing, and consulting company. And I also work with a number of boards in terms of strategy and how to improve health and safety within their businesses.
And I would imagine, as somebody whose entire business is centered around health and safety, there is a, it's bad, but there's a demand for everything needs to be more safe. People don't have time to deal with it themselves, or it's one of many concerns. So that's where you can come in, I would assume.
Yeah, from a practical sense as well, we're trying to cut through the red tape and cut through the amount of noise that's involved and the amount of paperwork that's involved, and trying to sort of give people tips, techniques, and tools that allows them to easily implement it into their business so that their business can maintain profitability but still hold high standards of safety.
Mm-hmm. And how does one, in general terms, obviously you don't want to give away the secret sauce or anything, but in general terms, how can they do that?
Well, interesting you just say that. We've just launched my book on Amazon, which is Workplace Safety on a Budget, which is exactly a sort of self-guide help toolkit on numerous different avenues that you can look at within your business to, reduce sort of the overall spend on health and safety, but at the same time maintain your profits. So, for example, a simple thing like outsourcing some of the functions to many freelancers who have either retired or semi-retired, or who are on the global scale and just don't want to work a 9-to-5 job but want to be a freelancer. And we've tapped into that market pretty successfully ourselves in terms of moving a lot of the paperwork online to these freelancers, so long as they have the right information and you give them the right context, and you're able to vet these guys as applicable to your industry and to your business. There's no reason why they can't be utilized to offshoot, taking on an additional resource where it's probably more paperwork based, and you can or outsource that to some really good people that we found on the global market.
Okay. And what are some of the, you said cost is one of them, but what are some of the other bottlenecks that you see, like when a company is trying to deal with safety but doesn't quite know how to tackle it?
Well, there's this thing about insurance, and your insurance is gonna be very high if you have accidents and incidents in the workplace and stuff like that. If you can demonstrate that you have good systems, procedures, and you've good controls in place, and you have got a benchmark system to monitor that, that's as good as any sort of report to produce to an insurance company to prove that you're you're doing things the right way and you're trying to do things the right way, and you can demonstrate that. So it's another really good area for people to look into, and they kind of get afraid by insurance, and they kind of say, well, look, the insurance is costing me X, Y, and Z. Well, have you looked at sort of challenging the insurance industry and saying to them, look, I can demonstrate through real data that I've collected that we've been able to, you know, increase our man hours, but also reduce our incident rate, and here's how we've done it.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking through the testimonials on your website, these are some pretty big companies, and the main thing that comes out of what I've read is they say this is an extra set of eyes or a different set of eyes. Is that kind of one of the main things you bring to the table? Is I'm an outside force that's going to look at this with a different perspective?
Yeah, like, you know, within businesses, obviously relationships grow, and sometimes those relationships can get some bias into the system, whereby, you know, for obvious reasons, people don't want to lose their jobs, and people don't want to probably get other people in trouble. So, you know, it's good to have a sort of an independent set of eyes that has no bias in the system in terms of, you know, we like going in and sort of having a fresh look at everything, and sort of giving the hard truth and the hard facts and the hard data to owners, so that you know, it's not sanitized. It's real time stuff that we've seen, and they can either absorb that and use it and use it for proactive means, or they can take another view on it. It's up to themselves. But, you know, we found that in the past that even mature companies have a level of bias that is not probably giving them the most accurate information in terms of health and safety.
And besides big companies, you also do, I think you told me off mic, you do pro bono work for smaller companies that want to sort of tackle these problems as well.
Yeah, so we've you know, worked with some companies where they might have had a challenge within their organization, and they're not just getting the right answers, or they're not getting the right feedback, or they're, you know, they're getting frustrated. And, you know, we don't want to see the health and safety industry damaged, and that there's some sort of label put on health and safety people that they're, you know, disruptive, or that they can do more damage than good to businesses. That's not in the main what most health and safety people are about. We do understand there's always bad eggs and good eggs in every industry, but you know, we're happy to help in the form of innovation. And it's one thing probably where health and safety has lacked across all of the industries. Health and safety has probably not been to the forefront of innovation. So, you know, if there is solutions to be had and to be explored, and there is challenges, we want to know about them, because it's not just for that, might not be just for that business, it might be for other larger business that on a larger scale are having the same problem. So you know, it doesn't matter whether you're a small one-man band or whether you're a multinational, challenges tend to be similar in most cases. It's just the dollar value and the size of the project obviously can be the difference.
Now you're based out of Ireland, but I would imagine you have an international clientele. And what if any problems do you run into with different safety standards and different practices in different countries?
Yeah, good question. We've worked in the Middle East, across Europe, and done some work in the States. But generally speaking, the OSHA guidelines, OSHA standard, and the ISO standards in Europe have kind of really carried themselves globally across all the different regions, so that there hasn't really been much of a difference. The same standard is, those two standards are kind of, you know, the sort of go-to standard that we've experienced across different continents. And there's a number of reasons for that. One of the main reasons might be that a lot of these companies have international bases anyway, in Europe and in the States and in the Middle East. So what we found is that they've just found the common denominator standard that suits them, and they've made that travel across the globe with them, rather than trying to reinvent new standards in new regions. And whilst the legislation might be different in the different countries or the different regions, the international standard that they have followed has been sort of, you know, the one that has been able to carry with them as they travel on from project onto project. And you know, with a bit of tweaking here and there, like for example, Ireland would have specific legislation that will be different from England, even though it's only, a stone throw away from each other.
Mhm.
And so there's subtle differences in definitions and titles and stuff like that would change. But ultimately, if everybody's going to the same standard, you'll find that companies win contracts on the basis of the standard rather than how they've implemented legislation and how they have changed titles and definitions.
And besides the audits, which you do, and the consulting, you also do webinars and workshops. So maybe you could explain what those are and what the most traction you get is with these workshops. Like what are people most interested in, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah. To be quite honest with you, most people are interested in having a course that they can have access to without having to spend days in front of a screen or in a classroom. So we've tried to take out all the jargon and get things real for maybe 45 minutes or an hour, so that senior management and middle-level management and supervisors and safety people can sit down, get the information they need in a format that's understandable, and move on. They're not competency-based courses, but we found that there was a need to sort of give people instant hit, if you like, information that allows them to then transport that into their own systems and their own culture and their own way of doing work, wherever that is. So that's one aspect of the online courses and webinars that we do. The second part is companies have approached us and said, we need stuff that is specific to our company, but is also specific to a region. Can you tailor a course towards that? And we don't charge for that. We build the courses out ourselves, and then we then just charge a per person price for the online course, and that's been very successful.
Now, I would imagine people listening to this would be interested in looking into your courses, webinars, and maybe even your consulting services as well. Where would they go to find that? And where would they go to find the book?
So the book is on Amazon.com, Workplace Safety on a Budget by Gavin Coyle. And then the online courses and the free webinars and the information is Gavin-Coyle, which is COYLE.com. The parent company that does the outsourcing recruitment and strategic consulting is Coyle-Group.com. So there's just the two websites, Coyle-Group.com and then Gavin-Coyle.com.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us today, Gavin.
No problem, Warren. I was delighted to reach out to you and delighted to participate.